Hi everyone, Mr Childs, Barnsley Music Service, and welcome to Unit 4 on our guitar. This unit is called Let's Make It Up, and we are going to talk about a couple of different things: improvisation and composition, and also we're going to learn 2 new notes on our guitar as well. So hopefully you will have read through some of the material online that explains about composition and improvisation. This lesson is going to focus mainly on improvisation. So improvisation, what does that mean? Have we heard that word before? Improvisation is a word that's used quite a lot, especially in the arts, in music, in painting, in drawing, in acting, in drama. And it's also used in life in general as well. And it basically means to make something up and to be spontaneous and creative. So to create something that's appropriate for that situation. So if we think about in life in general, so let's say for example that you were going to school one day and your shoelace snapped and your parents' carers didn't have a new shoelace to put in your shoe, but you needed your shoes to go to school. So they decide to use a piece of washing line. Yes, that might look a bit silly, but it does solve the problem and you are able to then tie your shoes. So that's an example of somebody improvising. They are creating a solution to the problem at that given time. And we do the same in music quite a lot. We're going to have a go at improvising. Now the one thing with improvising is anything goes. It's about experimenting with the sound and trying to create ideas using the notes that you already know and also the rhythms that you already know as well. And it's about mixing them together and thinking about both the order of the notes that you're playing and also the rhythm of the notes that you're playing as well. Now we're going to use the notes that you've already learned so far. So they are an E, which is the bottom string, off, no fingers. We're going to use a G, which is the 3rd space on the bottom string. We're going to use a B, which is the 2nd string up, with no fingers, open. And then the on note on that string, the 2nd string up, which is a D, which is on the 3rd space. So then 4 notes, we're going to experiment, and I'm going to get you to do this as well. And we're going to try playing them in random orders. We can repeat the notes, we can try and create little ideas. And the way that we're going to do that, if you've got access to YouTube on a device for example, if you type in G major backing tracks, and then there'll be loads that come up on YouTube, and I'm just going to pick the top one and put that on, and I'm going to experiment with them 4 notes. I'm going to play around, I'm going to utilise different rhythms, I'm going to play them in different orders. Some will sound good, some will sound not so good, so it's about experimenting and playing around and getting used to the sound. So here goes, I'm going to go to the top one on YouTube. So this is the first backing track that came up on YouTube. So I'm going to play them 4 notes and let's see what it sounds like. And I'm going to play them in any random order. So I don't think that sounded too bad. So now I'd like you to go away and have a go at experimenting with that yourself. And don't be afraid to just mix them notes up, try and create different rhythms. It's also a good idea to repeat little ideas that you create as well. So I played this and I repeated that. And it's also good to repeat single notes sometimes. So there I'm doubling doubling up on the notes there as well, and creating again different rhythms whilst I'm playing as well. So go away and have an experiment. Put some backing tracks on from YouTube. Remember, G major backing track, and just see what you can create. Remember, anything goes, but you've got to stop on them 4 notes that we've learnt so far. So the E, the G, the B and the D. Right then, moving forward, we're going to learn 2 new notes on our guitar. And so far we've learnt 4 notes using the bottom 2 strings. We're now going to move up to the 3rd string up, which is open, is a low G. So you'll notice this is another G. We've already learned a G on the 3rd space on the top string. That's a higher G. If you notice, it's a higher sound. The new G that we're going to learn, the 3rd string up, is a lower sound. So we're going to call that low G for now. And that looks like this in music. And then we're also going to learn a new on note on this string as well, but this time instead of playing the 3rd space like we have been doing on the previous strings, we're going to play the 2nd space. And if we can, we're going to try and play this with our 2nd finger on our left hand, and that would sound like this. And that's an A note, and that looks like this in music. So now we've got 2 new notes on our guitar. We've got the low G, which is the open, and the A, which is the on note. And we're going to put those into a song. The song that we're going to do is called Hot Cross Buns, which I'm sure you've heard before. And if you notice on the music, it starts with a note that we've seen in a previous unit. And if you've guessed this right, it's a B, which is the 2nd string up from the floor with no fingers pushed, open. And then the next note is one of the new notes, which is the A note, if you've spotted that, and that's the on note on the 3rd string up. And then it goes to another new note, which is a low G, which is the 3rd string up with no fingers. So if you notice, the rhythm of it as well goes ta ta two. That last note is not coloured in, and we've seen that before, and that lasts for 2 beats. And then the next bar does exactly the same again. So it goes B, A, G. And then if we move on to the 3rd bar, we notice that the rhythm changes now, and we have te-te beats. And this time we are on a low G note, and it goes, we play it 4 times, te, 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 te. And then we go to the A note, which is another one of the new notes, which is the 2nd space on the 3rd string up, te, 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 te. Play that 4 times again. And then the last bar in the music is exactly the same as the 1st and 2nd bar. So it repeats the B, A, So I'd like you to go away and practice that. Try and learn these new notes in with the song, and try to adhere to the rhythm that's written as well. And then once you've spent a bit of time practicing that, I'd like to come back to this video, and we're going to have a go at playing and singing together at a nice steady pace. So here goes Hot Cross Buns, and I'm going to come in after 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hot cross buns, hot cross buns, 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. Well done. Now if you look back in the course material online, there's another song underneath Hot Cross Buns called Dreamer. Now this uses other notes as well that we've learnt previous. So have a look at Dreamer and see if you can work out what the letter names are for the notes. You might have to go back to previous units to have a look what they are. And then have a go at trying to play Dreamer. So one thing that might help you out, when you go back to the notes to see what they are to remind yourself, you can write them above the notes if you need to, if you print it out. And this will help playing as well. Or you might be able to remember them as well, because we have done them in previous songs. So my challenge to you would be to send me a video, if you can, of you playing Dreamer. My email is on the screen right now, which is d.childs@barnsley.org. Work through in small chunks, so start with the 1st bar and then move on to the 2nd bar. And it would be great if you could record yourself and send it to me, even if it's just the 1st line. If you can play the whole song, that's even better, but it would be great to hear you playing Dreamer. So please send your video through to me, that would be fantastic. So I just want to, before we finish this lesson, now we've learnt 2 extra notes, I want to go back to the point that we started with on improvisation, because you can add in those 2 extra notes that we've learnt as well, the G, low G and the A, and you can put them into your improvisation as well. So now you've got 6 notes that you can potentially improvise with, and that will fill out the sound a little bit while you're improvising as well. So very quickly, let me try improvising using 6 notes and let's see what it sounds like. And I want you to do the same as well. So with the same backing track, so hopefully you can hear how that broadens the sound a little bit. So please have an experiment and have a go at that at home. G major backing track. So just to finish, improvisation is really the start of composition. So whilst you're improvising, if you find an idea that you like, write it down. Write the letter names down. Think about the rhythm that you've played as well. And that could be the start of your song. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I look forward to seeing you all soon in class. Take care. Bye bye.